Every day you wake up surrounded by noise, notifications, opinions, comparisons, expectations. It's not silence that's rare in this world. It's clarity. We live in a generation that's more connected than ever, yet more distracted than ever before. Our minds jump from one thing to the next, always chasing, rarely arriving. You scroll through hundreds of stories, but forget your own. You chase what looks urgent and ignore what's truly important. And here's the cost: your focus, your energy, your peace. But this audiobook isn't about time management. It's about life management. It's about learning how to stop scattering your energy across everything and start channeling it into what actually matters. Because until you learn to focus, you will always feel behind. Not because you're not working hard enough, but because your energy is leaking in 100 directions. In this audiobook, Focus on What Really Matters, we'll explore the power of clarity. You'll learn how to identify your true priorities, protect your energy, and train your mind to stay locked on purpose, no matter the noise around you. We'll walk through 10 powerful chapters that will reshape how you see focus. From mental clutter to emotional balance, from digital distraction to personal discipline, from chaos to calm. You'll discover what the 1% understand, that success doesn't come from doing more, but from doing what matters most. Because your energy is your most precious currency. Spend it wisely, and you create momentum. Spend it carelessly, and you stay broke in peace, progress, and purpose. So let's begin this journey, not just to sharpen your focus, but to reclaim your life. Because in the end, the difference between the distracted and the successful isn't luck, it's clarity. Remember, your focus is your future. Wherever it goes, your life follows. Chapter 1. The Hidden Cost of Distraction. You lose more to distraction than you ever lose to failure. It's not the mistakes that destroy your dreams. It's the moments you drift away from them. Distraction is the silent thief of greatness. It doesn't announce itself. It whispers. It disguises itself as entertainment, curiosity, comfort, or just 5 minutes. But those 5 minutes multiply, and soon your goals are pushed back not by disaster, but by delay. Every time you pick up your phone for no reason, every time you scroll out of boredom, every time you start something new before finishing the old, you are training your mind to live in chaos. You're not just losing focus. You're building a habit of distraction. The mind learns what you teach it, and if you teach it to fragment, it will forget how to focus. The most successful people in the world protect their attention like a fortress because they know attention is the foundation of creation. You cannot build a masterpiece with a restless mind. Focus isn't about intensity, it's about intention. You can't do everything, but you can do what matters. And the moment you stop scattering your energy, life starts to organize itself around your clarity. So pause for a second and ask yourself, what am I truly paying attention to today? And what is it costing me? Because distraction feels harmless until you realize it's quietly stealing your potential. Remember, distraction doesn't destroy your dreams in a moment. It dissolves them over time. Chapter 2. Energy management is everything. The most valuable currency isn't money, it's energy. You can have all the time in the world, but if your energy is scattered, your potential is wasted. Think about it. You've had days where you worked all day but achieved nothing, and other days where 2 focused hours created magic. That's not time. That's energy allocation. Focus begins with energy. Wherever your energy goes, your life grows. The people who master focus aren't superhuman. They're selective. They know how to say no. They protect their mornings. They guard their attention like a treasure chest. Energy leaks happen through clutter, physical, digital, emotional. Every notification, every argument, every unsolved task drains your bandwidth. So clarity isn't about doing more. It's about clearing space. It's about removing everything that doesn't serve your peace or purpose. Ask yourself daily, what deserves my energy today? Not everything that demands your attention deserves your involvement. Because if you keep feeding the trivial, you'll starve the meaningful. Energy management is the foundation of mental clarity. And the truth is, you don't need more hours. You need fewer leaks. Remember, where energy flows, results grow. Chapter 3. Digital Noise, the Modern Addiction. Our greatest distraction lives in our pockets. Your phone, the modern slot machine, constantly pulling your focus with endless rewards. A like here, a comment there, a new video, a new message. Tiny hits of dopamine, just enough to keep you scrolling, but never satisfied. We are the most stimulated generation in history, and the least still. The average person checks their phone over 150 times a day. That's not attention, that's addiction. You don't need to quit technology, but you do need to control it. Use it consciously, not compulsively. Set boundaries with your devices. Create no phone zones. Don't begin or end your day with a screen, because clarity can't compete with constant noise. Every notification is a negotiation between your goals and someone else's agenda. The question is, who's winning that negotiation? Your mind wasn't built for this level of stimulation. When everything demands attention, nothing holds it. So take back control. Silence the unnecessary. Curate your digital environment like a minimalist room. Clean, intentional, peaceful. Because when the noise fades, the signal of purpose finally gets through. Remember, the loudest world belongs to the quietest mind. Chapter 4. The Power of Saying No. Most people don't lose focus because they're lazy. They lose it because they say yes too often. Every yes you give is a no to something else. When you agree to every request, you abandon your priorities. The 1% understand this deeply. They say no, not out of arrogance, but out of clarity. Because every yes is an investment of energy, and not all investments yield returns. The most disciplined people aren't those who do the most. They're those who protect what matters most. It takes strength to say no, to disappoint others so you don't disappoint yourself. To prioritize peace over people-pleasing. You're not rejecting others, you're respecting yourself. So from now on, every decision must pass through this filter. Does this align with my purpose, or is this just noise? If it's not moving you closer to your vision, it's moving you away from it. Focus requires boundaries, and boundaries are built by brave decisions. Because saying no isn't selfish, it's strategic. Remember, every no to distraction is a yes to destiny. You're starting to feel it now, the clarity beneath the noise. But focus is more than removing distractions. It's about redefining priorities. We'll explore how to find your true purpose, build an environment of clarity, and train your mind to focus like a laser. The noise outside will always be there, but after this, it won't own you anymore. Chapter 5. Clarity, the compass of greatness. Most people wander through life not because they lack ambition, but because they lack direction. They're busy, but not productive. They're moving, but not progressing. They're chasing, but not arriving. And here's the truth. Activity means nothing without clarity. You can run at full speed and still end up lost if you don't know where you're going. Clarity is the compass of greatness. It doesn't give you speed, it gives you aim. Ask yourself, what do you really want? Not what sounds good, not what society expects, not what others celebrate. What you truly desire when the world goes quiet. That question alone can change your life. Because once you have clarity, everything else becomes simple. Not easy, but simple. You know what to say yes to. You know what to cut off. You stop trying to do everything because you finally understand what's worth doing. Clarity is peace disguised as purpose. When you know your direction, you stop doubting every decision. You see, confusion is expensive. It drains energy, time, and confidence. But clarity pays dividends in focus, momentum, and fulfillment. Don't chase everything. Chase what aligns. Don't move in circles. Move with intention. Remember, the clearer the target, the stronger the aim. Remember, clarity turns movement into momentum. Chapter 6. The Art of Single Tasking. You've been told that multitasking makes you efficient, but the truth? It makes you average at everything and excellent at nothing. Your brain wasn't designed to hold multiple streams of deep thought. It switches, fast but shallow. And every switch costs time, focus, and energy. The most powerful performers in the world don't multitask, they monotask. They bring total presence to one task at a time. Because when you give something your full attention, your results multiply. Try this. Instead of doing 5 things at once, do one thing 5 times better. Single tasking isn't about slowness, it's about mastery. You don't rise by doing more. You rise by doing things deeply. Every time you bring your full focus to one action, writing, studying, training, creating, you're building the muscle of presence. And presence is the gateway to excellence. You can't be powerful if you're scattered. You can't be creative if you're fragmented. You can't be fulfilled if you're divided. So slow down, narrow your lens, and give one thing everything. When you focus fully, you'll find a hidden power, flow. That's where time bends. That's where ideas connect. That's where greatness is born. Remember, you don't need more hours. You need more presence. Chapter 7. Environment Shapes Energy. You can't build focus in an environment designed for distraction. Your surroundings are not neutral. They are either helping you or hindering you. The clutter on your desk, the chaos in your schedule, the noise in your space, it all fragments your mind. If you want a focused life, start with a focused environment. Look around you. Does your space reflect your goals or your distractions? Does it energize you or drain you? Because your environment isn't just physical, it's psychological. The people you surround yourself with matter too. You can't stay focused if everyone around you lives in confusion. Energy is contagious. Choose wisely who you spend it with. The focused surround themselves with accountability, not excuses. With creators, not complainers. With those who talk about ideas, not those who gossip about people. Your environment should elevate your clarity, not erode it. So declutter your room. Redesign your workspace. Silence what pulls you away from peace. You can't always control your circumstances, but you can shape your space. And when your environment aligns with your vision, focus becomes effortless. Remember, you can't think clearly in a cluttered world. Chapter 8. The Emotional Weight of Focus. Focus isn't just mental, it's emotional. Because no matter how strong your strategy is, you can't focus deeply if your heart is divided. We live in a world where emotions are constantly manipulated by media, by opinions, by comparison. And when your emotions are hijacked, your attention follows. Every time you react impulsively to a message, a headline, a comment, you lose a piece of mental peace. That's why emotional discipline is essential to clarity. You can't master focus until you learn to master your reactions. Ask yourself, does this emotion deserve my energy? Does this conflict deserve my attention? Does this distraction deserve my peace? Most of the time, the answer is no. The greatest minds know how to let go quickly. They don't dwell on every insult or every outcome. They focus on what they can control and release what they can't. Because holding on to every irritation is like trying to run a marathon with stones in your shoes. You won't get far until you let go. Emotional intelligence isn't just about being calm. It's about being clear. The clearer your emotions, the sharper your focus. Remember, peace of mind is the foundation of focus. Chapter 9. The Power of Strategic Rest. In a culture that glorifies hustle, rest has become misunderstood. People think resting means quitting. It doesn't. It means recharging for precision. You can't focus if your mind is fatigued. You can't create if your energy is constantly depleted. Even machines need to power down. So do you. Strategic rest isn't laziness. It's leadership. The disciplined rest intentionally. They build recovery into their routine because they understand that burnout doesn't come from doing too much. It comes from doing without direction. When you rest well, your clarity sharpens. When you rest right, your focus deepens. So instead of mindless scrolling, rest through mindfulness. Instead of escape, choose rejuvenation. Walk, read, meditate, breathe. Let your mind reset, not retreat. Because when you learn how to rest strategically, you return stronger, clearer, calmer, and ready for execution. Remember, rest isn't the enemy of focus. It's the fuel for it. Chapter 10. The Power of Purpose. Focus without purpose is like a flashlight without batteries, directionless and dim. Purpose gives power to your focus. It's what transforms effort into endurance. When you have purpose, you stop needing motivation. Because your why becomes your discipline. Every great achiever, from innovators to leaders, had one thing in common. They knew what they stood for. They weren't driven by approval, they were driven by alignment. Purpose is clarity at its deepest level. It cuts through confusion, it sustains effort, and it transforms struggle into strength. So before you ask how to focus, ask why you want to. Because once your why is clear, the how becomes automatic. Purpose will outlast pressure. It will give meaning to every sacrifice and significance to every step. And in the end, you'll realize you were never chasing success. You were chasing significance. Remember, purpose is the fire that keeps focus alive. You now understand the architecture of clarity, from energy to purpose. But understanding isn't enough. In the next part, we'll go deeper into application, how to build systems of focus, eliminate the hidden noise of self-doubt, and create a life so aligned that distraction loses its grip on you. Because clarity isn't a destination, it's a daily decision. Chapter 11. Systems of focus. Motivation fades. Willpower drains. But systems? Systems sustain you. You don't need to fight distraction every day. You need to design your life so that focus becomes the default. Think of it like this. Discipline is the bridge, but systems are the road. Without them, you'll keep walking in circles. The world's most focused individuals, from athletes to CEOs, rely on systems that remove decision fatigue. They know that focus doesn't depend on daily motivation. It depends on automation. Wake-up time. Fixed. Morning routine, structured. Work blocks, intentional. Evening habits, restorative. No guesswork, no chaos, just clarity. A system isn't about rigidity, it's about rhythm. It gives your mind permission to perform without confusion. Design your days with purpose. Decide once, execute daily. If you have to decide every day whether to do the hard thing, you'll lose half the time. The discipline don't rely on emotion, they rely on infrastructure. So take an hour to map your system. When do you work best? When do you think best? When do you rest best? Then build your day around it, not against it. Because when your environment and habits align, focus stops feeling like effort. It becomes natural. Remember, you don't rise to your goals, you fall to your systems. Chapter 12. The hidden noise, mental clutter. Focus doesn't only get stolen by your phone, it gets stolen by your thoughts. Mental clutter is the invisible enemy of clarity. It's the open tabs in your mind, the half-finished tasks, the unresolved emotions, the overthinking loops. You can't focus deeply when your mental desktop is overloaded. Every "I'll deal with it later" becomes another background process running silently, draining your energy. That's why clarity begins with mental housekeeping. Take time each week to brain dump. Write everything down. Goals, worries, ideas, frustrations. Get it out of your head and onto paper. Because when your thoughts are organized, your focus becomes sharp. Mental clutter isn't just noise. It's friction. And clarity is the art of removing friction. Stop carrying what you can write down. Stop replaying what you can resolve. Stop holding what you can release. When your mind is clean, focus becomes effortless. Remember, an untidy mind can't produce a focused life. Chapter 13, eliminate the 80%. Here's the truth. 80% of what you do doesn't move you forward. That's the Pareto principle in action. 20% of your actions create 80% of your results. But most people spend their energy on the wrong 80%. They chase small tasks because they're easy. They avoid hard priorities because they're uncomfortable. And yet, the few who focus on the critical 20% dominate in every field. It's not that they work harder, they work smarter, with ruthless focus on what matters most. The secret? They cut the trivial. Each week, identify the activities, habits, or commitments that yield the least results, and eliminate them. Say no to meetings that drain you. Say no to goals that aren't yours. Say no to effort without impact. You don't need to do more. You need to do less better. When you focus your energy on the vital few instead of the trivial many, life accelerates. The 1% don't manage time. They filter it. Remember, doing less of what doesn't matter creates more of what does. Chapter 14. Focus through failure. Every time you fail, you face two choices, reflection or reaction. The undisciplined react. They panic, they quit, they spiral. The focused reflect. They observe, they adjust, they rise. Failure isn't a distraction unless you turn it into one. Most people waste time replaying mistakes instead of learning from them. They drain their energy on what-ifs instead of what's next. But the focused mind knows that failure is just feedback, raw data from the universe telling you what doesn't work. Every failure brings clarity. It sharpens your awareness of what truly matters and what doesn't. The key is emotional neutrality. Don't attach your identity to the outcome. Detach, analyze, move forward. The most successful people in the world don't fear failure. They focus through it. They don't waste time judging themselves. They invest that time in adjusting the process. That's what separates distraction from direction. Focus in motion. Remember, failure is not a stop sign. It's a signpost. Chapter 15. The Myth of Motivation. You won't always feel inspired. You won't always feel ready. And that's perfectly normal. Motivation is fleeting. It's like caffeine. It gives you a spark, but not a fire. The focused understand this truth. They don't rely on feelings. They rely on commitment. Every time you act without motivation, you're strengthening mental muscle. You're teaching your brain that feelings don't dictate action. Motivation is a mood. Focus is a decision. So instead of chasing inspiration, build discipline. Instead of waiting for the right moment, make it. Some days the work will feel light. Other days it will feel like dragging yourself through quicksand. But either way, you move. Because consistency beats intensity every single time. Motivation gets you started. Focus keeps you going. Clarity ensures you never stop. Remember, motivation fades. Clarity stays. Chapter 16. Focus in relationships. Focus isn't only for goals, it's for people too. In a world full of shallow connections, focused attention is the rarest gift you can give. You can't truly connect if you're half present. You can't build trust if your attention is divided. When you're with someone, be with them. Put the phone away. Silence the noise. Look into their eyes. Listen not to reply, but to understand. Because real focus creates presence. And presence builds depth. Relationships, personal or professional, are strengthened not by grand gestures, but by consistent attention. You can't give your best to everyone, but you can give your full self to the ones who matter most. So choose depth over width. Fewer people, deeper bonds, less noise, more connection. Because in the end, it's not about how many people know you. It's about how many truly feel you. Remember, focus turns connection into understanding. Chapter 17. The calm within chaos. Distraction doesn't always come from noise around you. Sometimes it comes from chaos within you. Even when your world is loud, you can learn to stay centered. That's inner focus, clarity of spirit in the middle of storms. It's the ability to remain calm when others panic, to breathe when everything feels urgent, to trust yourself when the path feels uncertain. You develop it through stillness, through pauses, through presence. Every time you take a moment to breathe before reacting, to think before speaking, to observe before judging, you're training inner focus. Calmness is not weakness, it's control. And control creates clarity. When your inner world becomes still, your outer world starts to align. You stop chasing noise and start attracting order. So practice stillness daily, even for 5 minutes. Because clarity grows in silence, not in chaos. Remember, peace isn't found, it's created. You now understand how to design focus through systems, through emotional mastery, through inner stillness. But we go even deeper, to the spiritual level of clarity. You'll learn how focus becomes fulfillment and how living by what truly matters transforms your identity entirely. The noise will never stop, but you can learn to live above it. Chapter 18, The Spiritual Side of Focus. There's a level of focus that goes beyond productivity, beyond goals, routines, and systems. It's the level where focus becomes spiritual. Because when you learn to control where your attention goes, you begin to control what your life becomes. The ancient philosophers, monks, and thinkers across cultures all knew this truth. A distracted mind is a suffering mind. A focused mind is a peaceful one. You don't have to be religious to experience this. You just have to realize that focus isn't about control. It's about connection. When you're fully present in what you're doing, whether it's working, walking, or listening, something magical happens. You stop separating yourself from the moment. You become the moment. That's what clarity really is, a state of oneness with what matters. Your spirit calms, your anxiety fades, and instead of chasing meaning, you feel it. The noise of the world begins to lose its power when your inner world becomes still. That's not escape, that's mastery. The most successful people aren't just focused in business, they're spiritually aligned in life. They understand that focus isn't about doing one thing forever. It's about being one person everywhere. You become undivided. You stop pretending, stop comparing, stop fragmenting your soul between versions of yourself. That's focus at its highest form. Integrity. Alignment between who you are, what you believe, and what you do. Remember, when your spirit is focused, the noise of the world no longer controls you. Chapter 19, The Power of Less. The world will tell you that success means adding more goals, more projects, more commitments. But real mastery is the opposite. It's subtraction. Clarity lives in simplicity. The more you add, the harder it becomes to see. But when you start removing, clarity appears naturally. Think about your mind like a camera lens. The more clutter in the frame, the harder it is to focus. Remove what's irrelevant, and the picture sharpens instantly. Do less, but do it deeply. Own fewer things, but value them more. Have fewer relationships, but give them your full presence. Because every less creates space for more peace, more growth, more meaning. Busyness is not success. It's distraction disguised as importance. The people who live with true focus know this. Every unnecessary yes costs a piece of your peace. So let go of the excess. Let go of the noise. Let go of everything that doesn't serve the person you're becoming. Because when you stop chasing everything, what truly matters starts chasing you. Remember, simplicity is not lack. It's luxury. Chapter 20, The Energy of Intention. Focus isn't just about what you do. It's about why you do it. Intention gives energy direction. It transforms action into alignment. You can have two people doing the exact same task. One burns out, the other lights up. The difference is intention. One is working to prove something. The other is working to express something. Your intention determines your energy. When your focus is powered by fear of failure, of judgment, of comparison, it drains you. When it's powered by purpose, it sustains you. That's why every action must be infused with intention. Don't just work, mean it. Don't just speak, feel it. Don't just live, choose it. Focused living is intentional living. You don't need 100 goals. You need one clear reason. And once you find it, Everything else becomes secondary. Remember, intention turns motion into meaning. Chapter 21, Protecting Your Mental Space. Your mind is sacred, and yet most people leave it unguarded, open to anyone, anything, at any time. You can't focus when your mind is constantly invaded. Protecting your mental space means creating boundaries not just in your schedule, but in your spirit. It means saying no to toxic conversations. It means unfollowing negativity. It means not reacting to every opinion that crosses your feed. You're not obligated to engage with everything that demands your attention. Silence is not weakness, it's wisdom. Guard your mind like you would guard your home. Not everyone deserves access. The strongest people in the world are not the loudest. They're the most intentional about what they allow inside their heads. Your focus flourishes in privacy because clarity is quiet work. Stop explaining yourself to everyone. Stop broadcasting every goal. Stop looking for validation from people who don't share your vision. You don't need approval to protect your peace. Remember, if it costs your peace, it's too expensive for your focus. Chapter 22, Purpose-Driven Focus. Purpose isn't just knowing what you want. It's knowing what you're willing to sacrifice for it. You can't stay focused if you're afraid of discomfort, because everything that matters will challenge you. The difference between people who stay on course and those who drift is simple. Purpose gives pain a reason. The unfocused see struggle as a sign to stop. The focused see struggle as a signal to grow. Every great achievement in history was born from clarity through adversity. Pain becomes fuel when it's connected to purpose. So when the path gets hard, remind yourself why it matters, why it's worth it, why quitting would cost more than continuing. Because clarity doesn't remove obstacles. It reminds you why you're strong enough to overcome them. Your focus becomes unstoppable when your purpose becomes undeniable. Remember, when the why is strong, the noise loses volume. Chapter 23, The Art of Detachment. Focus thrives when attachment fades. The reason most people lose clarity is because they cling to outcomes, to opinions, to expectations. But attachment creates tension. You can't see clearly when your mind is desperate for control. Detachment doesn't mean apathy. It means trust. It means doing your best and letting go of the rest. It means focusing on process, not praise. It means staying calm even when results delay. When you're attached, you force outcomes. When you're detached, you flow through them. That's why the most focused people look serene, because they're not addicted to certainty. They're committed to growth. True focus doesn't chase, it attracts. It doesn't beg, it builds. It doesn't rush, it refines. Detach from the noise. Detach from validation. Detach from the illusion of control. You'll find that focus feels lighter when you stop clinging to everything that's heavy. Remember, detachment doesn't make you lose. It helps you see what's worth keeping. You've now begun to understand clarity as something deeper, not just a skill, but a way of being. We'll explore how to make focus a lifestyle, how to sustain it when the world keeps pulling you away, and how to live each day with unshakable calm and clarity. Because focus isn't just what you practice, it's who you become. Chapter 24, Turning focus into a lifestyle. Focus isn't a task you perform, it's a life you design. It's not about moments of clarity, it's about creating an existence where clarity is your default state. The difference between those who stay consistent and those who drift lies in one truth. The focused build lifestyles that protect their priorities. They don't just try to be focused, they live in a way that demands focus. Every choice, from what they consume to who they spend time with, serves their purpose. Their schedule reflects their goals. Their habits protect their energy. Their boundaries preserve their peace. That's not obsession. It's optimization. To turn focus into a lifestyle, build structures that make distraction difficult. Example, if you want to write daily, keep your phone in another room. If you want to think clearly, declutter your workspace. If you want to grow, surround yourself with people who demand accountability. Discipline is not about doing what's easy. It's about creating conditions where excellence is expected. Your life becomes clear the moment you design it around what matters. You can't expect focus from a lifestyle built for chaos. And here's the truth. When you live intentionally, your focus stops being effort. It becomes identity. Remember, focus becomes effortless when your life is built to support it. Chapter 25, The Distraction, Detox. You can't focus deeply until you detox from the noise. Your mind is overstimulated, not because you're weak, but because the world is designed that way. You're surrounded by algorithms engineered to keep you hooked, notifications built to keep you reactive, and content crafted to keep you consuming. If you want your power back, you must create silence intentionally. Take 1 hour a day. No phone, no music, no messages, just stillness. You'll be shocked by what rises from the quiet. Ideas, awareness, creativity, peace. That silence isn't emptiness, now it's renewal. You don't need to escape to the mountains or quit technology. You just need digital discipline. Check messages with purpose. Use social media for learning, not comparison. Turn off alerts that don't serve your goals. Every small boundary adds hours of clarity to your day. You can't fight distraction while feeding it. So stop giving your time to platforms that profit from your attention span. Reclaim your focus, and you'll reclaim your freedom. Remember, you can't hear your purpose if the world never stops talking. Chapter 26. The courage to prioritize focus demands courage. The courage to disappoint the unimportant. Most people know what they need to do. They just don't want to face the discomfort of letting go. But focus is brutal honesty. It forces you to admit that not everything deserves your attention. You can't prioritize growth if you're trying to please everyone. You can't build depth if you're spreading yourself thin. You can't find peace if you keep saying yes to chaos. Every yes must be earned. Every no must be sacred. When you focus on everything, you dilute your power. But when you focus on what matters, you amplify your impact. Prioritization is the art of knowing your season. Not everything you care about belongs in this chapter of your life. And that's okay. Let go of the illusion that you can do it all at once. Even the sun has to rise and set. It doesn't shine everywhere all the time. Remember, focus is the courage to let go of good things for great ones. Chapter 27. Living Beyond the Noise. The ultimate goal of focus isn't productivity, it's peace. You don't master focus just to work harder. You master it to live better, to stop feeling fragmented, to stop chasing validation, to stop living by reaction and start living by design. The noise will never disappear, but your relationship with it will change. You'll no longer feel pulled by every demand. You'll no longer confuse movement with meaning. You'll stop checking your phone every 5 minutes because your purpose will become louder than your notifications. That's what focus gives you. inner stillness in a chaotic world. When you live beyond the noise, you stop competing and start creating. You stop seeking and start serving. You've now completed the journey to clarity, from understanding focus to living it. But this isn't the end. It's an invitation to take what you've learned and turn it into a lifestyle, to start tomorrow with intention, to protect your peace like treasure, and to live every day as if your attention is your legacy, because it is. If this audiobook moved you, leave a comment. Share which idea, which sentence, which chapter changed your thinking most. Hit like if you're ready to make focus your new default, and subscribe, not for me, but for your future self, so you never stop building the version of you that lives with purpose, clarity, and peace. Because focus isn't about doing more. It's about finally living for what really matters. A focused life isn't built in a day. It's built by deciding every day what truly deserves your energy.